In Victorian England, a woman's hair was never just hair. It was a language, a symbol, a declaration. Every curl, every braid, every single lock pinned perfectly in place carried a meaning, a story, and sometimes a very deep secret. Behind the delicate ribbons and gleaming pearls, these intricate hairstyles spoke a silent language of class, virtue, mourning, and even forbiddance love. Today, we're going to unravel the threads of history and uncover what those elaborate Victorian hairstyles really meant. Welcome to Echoes of Time, where we uncover the beauty, the rules, and the forgotten secrets of the past. Picture the 1800s. It was an era defined by propriety, restraint, and a very long list of social rules, especially for women. In a world where public expression was limited, hair became one of the few canvases for a woman to express her individuality. But don't be fooled, this wasn't a free-for-all. The way a woman wore her hair followed a strict and unwritten social code. Her hairstyle could instantly reveal her marital status, her age, her social standing, and even her mood for the day. It was a living, breathing resume that she wore on her head. Have you ever seen paintings of young Victorian girls with long, flowing hair cascading down their shoulders? That wasn't just a romantic artistic choice. Loose, unbound hair was the definitive symbol of innocence, youth, and purity. It was a style reserved exclusively for children and very young, unmarried women. It signaled to the world that she was still under the protection of her family, innocent and not yet part of the adult world of courtship and marriage. But the moment a woman married, everything changed. Her hair was swept up, pinned, and secured in an elegant updo. This transition wasn't just about fashion, it was a powerful symbol of her new status. Pinned-up hair signified maturity, modesty, and her role as a married woman, a respectable matron of a household. To leave your hair unbound in public as an adult woman was considered almost scandalous. It was seen as improper, uncontrolled, and some might even say an act of silent rebellion against the rigid expectations of society. It hinted at a wildness that the Victorian era was desperate to contain. The iconic Victorian updo, with its complex loops, braids, and buns, wasn't just about looking beautiful, it was a statement of control. In an age obsessed with discipline, order, and refinement, a perfectly arranged hairstyle mirrored those very values. Every strand had its place. A loose curl or an undone wisp of hair could be seen as a sign of carelessness, or worse, as provocative. It suggested that the woman herself might be coming undone. The hairstyle was a reflection of her inner discipline and moral character. Of course, not all updos were created equal. Social class was woven into every braid. Servants and working-class women often wore their hair in simple, practical buns or knots. Their styles had to be functional, keeping their hair out of their faces while they worked long hours. The upper classes, however, were in a constant competition for the most elaborate and eye-catching styles. They had the time, the money, and the ladies' maids to create true works of art. Braids were wrapped like crowns, decorated with expensive jewels, delicate lace, pearls, and even exotic feathers. A woman's hair was her crown of virtue, yes, but it was also a very public measure of her family's wealth and status. But what happened when joy turned to sorrow? When death entered a Victorian home, so did an intense and complex set of mourning rituals. And hair played a central, and to us, perhaps a surprising role. It was common for women to cut locks of a loved one's hair after they passed away. This wasn't just a sentimental keepsake tucked away in a box. This hair was meticulously woven into intricate pieces of jewelry. Bracelets, rings, brooches, and watch fobs were created, holding the memory of the dead literally close to the skin. These weren't just simple trinkets, they were public statements of grief and eternal connection. Some women even went a step further, weaving the deceased's hair directly into their own hairstyles, a symbol of a unity that death could not break. It blurred the line between fashion and grief, turning the body into a living memorial. To our modern eyes, it might seem eerie or even morbid. But to the Victorians, it was an act of profound devotion, a way to keep a part of their loved one with them, always. Hair wasn't just for mourning, it was also a secret language of love. In a time before photographs were common and affordable, lovers exchanged locks of hair as deeply personal tokens of affection. These precious strands were hidden inside lockets, tucked between the pages of letters, or pressed within prayer books. A single strand of hair was more intimate than any written word. It was a physical piece of the person you loved. These tokens even had their own code. A strand of hair tied with a blue ribbon might be a promise. I am yours and I am faithful. A golden curl sealed with wax could be a farewell gift before a long journey, or a soldier leaving for war, a promise to return. For Victorian lovers, hair wasn't just sentimental, it was intimate. It was seen as a piece of the soul, something that would outlive the body. Giving someone a lock of your hair was giving them a part of yourself, forever. By the mid-19th century, with Queen Victoria on the throne, hair etiquette became even more codified. The Queen herself set the national tone with her modest, neat, and impeccably proper hairstyles. Her center part and simple chignon became the gold standard for respectable women everywhere. Hair that was too long, too wild, or too flashy was heavily frowned upon, especially in public. Etiquette manuals of the day gave women strict advice on respectable hair conduct. There were rules on how to wash it, how to comb it, when to cover it with a bonnet, and when it was appropriate to let it down, which was typically only in the privacy of her own bedroom. Every single strand was a reflection of a woman's morality, her femininity, and her social status. Even in the pursuit of beauty, there was a sense of constant surveillance, a pressure to conform. So, the next time you find yourself in a museum or looking through old photographs and you see a portrait of a Victorian woman, look closer. Look beyond the stern expression and the formal dress. Look at her hair. Because behind the perfect curls and the polished ribbons lies a hidden coda story written in silence, pinned beneath layers of propriety, and whispered through time by every woman who ever dared to be seen. Her hair tells a story of her life, her loves, her losses, and her place in a world that demanded both beauty and restraint. Thank you for joining us on Echoes of Time. If you were fascinated by the secret language of Victorian hair, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the forgotten corners of history. We'll see you next time.